Welcome back, my dear students. Until now, we seen properties of solution. First, we seen solution and its property. After that, we seen suspension and its property. Today, we are going to learn about colloids and solution. Colloidal solution and its property. So, what is colloidal solution? Colloidal solution is a heterogeneous mixture in which the size of particle lies between the true solution and suspension. It means that colloidal is a heterogeneous solution. We know that true solution is a homogeneous solution. After that we see suspension. Suspension, it is a heterogeneous solution, and now this colloidal also heterogeneous solution. But the size of the particles of the colloid solution lies between true solution and the suspension. Okay. Colloid particles can be easily scattered beam of visible light. This phenomenon is called Tyndall effect. We know that very well, Tyndall effect. When we are going to passing through a medium beam of light, at that time the particles absorb that beam of light and gets visible into the path of light. This is nothing but your Tyndall effect. We done this activity also. This Tyndall effect also, the colloidal solution shows Tyndall effect. Okay. Now we are having some example regarding with the colloidal solution. So first example is clouds, milk of magnesia, jelly, cheese. These are the examples. There are so many examples. Okay. For more examples, if you want to know more examples, so please see textbook page number 18. And there is one table 2.1 common examples of colloids. Okay, so what we see, colloid solution. Colloid solution, it is a heterogeneous mixture, and the particle of this colloid solution is lies between into the true solution and suspension. Okay, and there are colloid solution shows the Tyndall effect. Okay, and there are some examples, that is clouds, milk of magnesia, jelly, cheese. These are the examples. For more types of colloidal, there are 7 types of colloidal solution. So for this, you just refer textbook page number 18. There is table number 2.1. There are common examples of colloids like aerosol and all this. Okay. So please once go through the textbook. Now, properties of colloidal solution. What are the properties of colloidal solution? We know the properties of solution and suspension. Now we will try to understand properties of colloidal solution. The particle of colloid can be seen by naked eyes, can't be seen by naked eyes individually. See, in the true solution we cannot see the particles of the solution with the naked eyes. Okay, but in case of suspension we can see the particles of suspension solution with the naked eyes. But in case of colloidal solution, particles of that colloidal solution cannot be seen by naked eyes individually. Okay, in case of suspension we can see the particles of the suspension particles we can see with the individually. Okay, but in case of colloidal solution we can't see individually particles with our naked eyes. Okay, second property, we know that it is a heterogeneous mixture and thus solute and solvent cannot be separated by filter paper. Okay, even though in case of suspension we know that this is a heterogeneous mixture. When we are going to do the filtration, at that time filtrate and residue we are getting. Okay, it means that we will separate the suspension. But in case of colloidal solution we cannot separate it with the help of filtration process. Okay, solute and solvent we cannot separate. Keeping in mind, this is second property. Now third property, it is a stable mixture. It is what? Stable mixture. Particles do not settle down at the bottom over a period of time. In case of suspension, we know that this mixture is unstable. This mixture is unstable. It is a heterogeneous mixture. When we are going to keep this solution or mixture for some time undisturbed, at that time the particles of the suspension get settled down, okay, and forms separation boundaries. But in case of colloidal solution, it does not happen. Okay, it is what? Stable mixture. What is the reason behind it? It is a stable mixture. The particles are suspended into the solution. Okay. So the fourth property, it is a stable mixture. Particle do not settle down at the bottom over a period of time. Same line I wrote, I think. Okay. Again I am going to explain this line. By mistake I wrote this line 2 times. Okay. So we know that colloidal solution cannot be, when we are going to be kept it for a long time, at that time the particles from that colloidal solution will not get settled down at the bottom of the respective container. Okay. Now the fifth property, they do not settle down when left undisturbed. Which means colloid is quite stable. It indicates that it is a stable mixture. We know that solution is a stable mixture, and this colloidal also stable mixture. So once we will recap all these things: solution, suspension and colloid. Okay. So in case of solution, we know that it is a homogeneous mixture. In case of suspension, it is a heterogeneous mixture. In case of colloid, it is a heterogeneous mixture. Okay, I am just differentiating all these: solution, suspension and colloids. Okay. In case of solution, we can't see the particle of the solution, true solution. Okay. The reason is due to size of the particle, and it is very less, that is minus 10 to the power minus 9 nanometer. Okay. Due to this reason, we are not going to be seeing that particle with our naked eyes. But in case of suspension, we can see these particles. Okay. These are near about 100 nanometer. Okay. Size of the particle is 100 nanometer, so we can see it visible. Okay, with our naked eyes also. But in case of colloid, the particles of the colloids lies between suspension and solution. Okay, so we cannot see this particle individually. With our naked eyes. So, for example, in solution we have salt plus water. In suspension we have chalk powder plus water, and in case of colloid we are having example, that is clouds, milk of magnesia, jelly, cheese. These are the examples. For more example and types of examples, please just refer the page number 18, textbook page number 18, table 2.1, common examples of colloids. After that we see next property, that is solution. Solution do not show Tyndall effect. Suspension shows Tyndall effect, and colloids also shows Tyndall effect. Whenever we are keeping solution undisturbed, at that time the particle will not go settle down at the bottom of the container. Okay, for a long time also. But in case of suspension, when we are keeping undisturbed, at that time the particles get settled down. In case of colloid, the colloids also same, the particles will not get settled down at the bottom side. But in case of solution, we can filter this solution. We can separate solute and solvent. We cannot separate solute and solvent in case of solution. I am talking about solution. Okay. In case of solution, solute and solvent cannot be separated with the filtration process. Okay. But in case of suspension, we can separate this mixture with the help of filtration method. But in case of colloids, we cannot separate it with the help of filtration method. Okay, these are the properties of solution, suspension and colloidal. We will try to understand more about suspension, colloidal mixture and solution with the help of AV. Okay, I hope that you will understood this AV very well.
When we dissolve a solute in a solvent, that is if we add salt to water, salt is the solute, water is the solvent, and we stir it, we get the final solution. So there are different types of solutions which are possible. We have sand dissolved in water, we have aqueous copper sulfate solution, and milk. These are the three different kinds of solutions, and we'll filter them now. So first, we filter sand dissolved in water. You see that clear water is collected in the flask and sand is left on the filter paper. Next, we filter aqueous copper sulfate solution. On filtering, the entire copper sulfate solution is obtained in the flask. There is no filtrant or residue on the filter paper. Now we'll filter milk. Again, the entire milk is collected in the flask and there is no residue left on the filter paper. So these are the three different kinds of solutions. One of these is a suspension. The properties of a suspension are that it is heterogeneous. It is the components of a suspension, they can be separated by filtration, and it is not stable. By not stable we mean that if we leave the solution undisturbed for some time, the insoluble solid settles at the bottom. So which out of the three? Sand dissolved in water, aqueous copper sulfate solution, and milk. Which out of the three do you think is a suspension? Yes, sand dissolved in water is a suspension because we see that it is heterogeneous, its composition is not same throughout, it is not stable. That is, if we leave it undisturbed for some time, the sand settles at the bottom and we can separate this sand using a filter paper. So this sand dissolved in water is a suspension. So the suspension or sand dissolved in water satisfies all the three properties. Now let's look at another type of solution, that is aqueous copper sulfate solution, which is a true solution. Now what are the properties of a true solution? A true solution is always homogeneous. So when we look at aqueous copper sulfate solution, we see that it is same throughout. Since it is uniform in composition throughout, so it is homogeneous. It is also clear and transparent, as we saw in case of aqueous copper sulfate solution. The components of a true solution cannot be separated by filtration. When we filtered aqueous copper sulfate solution, there was no residue on the filter paper. Also, it is stable. When we say it's stable, if we leave aqueous copper sulfate solution undisturbed for a very long time, we do not see any insoluble solid settling at the bottom. So aqueous copper sulfate solution is a true solution. Now what kind of solution do you think is milk? Well, milk, it looks homogeneous. Homogeneous because as we look at it, it looks the same throughout. It has the uniform composition. But if you take some of this milk and observe under a microscope, you will see that it has varying composition throughout. It has different particles like fats and so on. When we observe this milk under a microscope, we observe that there are different particles in different proportions of milk. So even though it looks homogeneous, it is actually a heterogeneous mixture. So such a mixture which looks homogeneous but it's actually a heterogeneous mixture, the components of which cannot be separated by filtration. There was no residue when we filtered milk, and again it is stable. If we leave it undisturbed for some time, we do not see any insoluble component settling down. So such a solution is known as the colloidal solution. So milk in this case is a colloidal solution. We have chalk powder dissolved in water. What kind of a solution is that? Is it a true solution, suspension, or a colloidal solution? We know that chalk powder is insoluble in water. Since it is insoluble, it can be separated by filtration. It is also not stable, as if we leave it for some time undisturbed, the chalk powder settles at the bottom, and this mixture is a heterogeneous mixture. So such a mixture which has these properties is a suspension. Now we have two solutions. We have aqueous copper sulfate solution and we have milk. To us, both are homogeneous looking, both have the same composition throughout. We know milk looks homogeneous, but it is actually a heterogeneous mixture. But when we are looking at it, to us, both are homogeneous. Both cannot be separated by filtration, the components of aqueous copper sulfate solution and milk. They cannot be separated by filtration. And they are also stable. Both of them are stable. So how do we actually distinguish between a true solution and a colloidal solution? The first way to distinguish between the two is by using the property that true solutions are clear and transparent. If you take your hand and place it behind this beaker, you will be able to see it. Or if you take a colored paper, place it behind this beaker, you will be able to see the paper. But if you take your hand or the colored paper behind this glass, you will not be able to see it. This is because true solutions are clear and transparent, whereas colloidal solutions are not. So this is one property which we can use to distinguish between the two. Another very important property which helps us in distinguishing between the two is something which you must have observed in a dark room. If you have a dark room and you open a ventilator or a small window, you see the path taken by the light rays. Why do you see this path which is taken by the light rays? This is because there are tiny dust particles in the air. As the sun's rays strikes these dust particles, the light rays scatter. As they are scattered, they take a wider area now, so we can see the path taken by the light rays. So the air or the dust particles which are present in air, they scattered the sun's rays, and so the path of the rays becomes visible. And this effect is known as Tyndall effect. Tyndall effect is the effect of scattering of a beam of light. When the beam of a light is scattered by some particles which are present in the medium, their path becomes visible, and this scattering of beam of light is known as Tyndall effect. This is also the effect which you observe in dense forests. In dense forests, again, you see the path which is taken by the rays of the sun. Why is this so? This is because in forests, there are tiny droplets of water. As the sun's rays strike these droplets of water, their path is scattered. As they are scattered, their path becomes visible. So again, it is the Tyndall effect which makes the path of the sun's rays visible. How does this Tyndall effect help in distinguishing a true solution from a colloidal solution? Say we have two beakers, one of them contains a true solution and one a colloidal solution. How can we distinguish the two? We bring a torch. As we switch on the torch, you see that in one of the beakers, the path of the light rays becomes visible. This is because we know that some particles in a colloidal solution, as they are big, they scattered the light rays. As they are scattered, their path becomes visible. So this is a colloidal solution. A true solution cannot scatter the light rays. This is because the particles of a true solution are very small. They do not have the property to scatter the light rays. And hence, Tyndall effect helps us in distinguishing a colloidal solution from a true solution. So we can use this property when we have two solutions. We bring a laser beam or a torch. You observe that the path of the laser beam becomes visible in one of the solutions. This means this is a colloidal solution, and the solution in which the path does not become visible is the true solution. So Tyndall effect is the scattering of a beam of light by the colloidal particles which are present in a colloidal solution. Since the colloidal particles are bigger than the particles of a true solution, they have the tendency to scatter the light rays, and hence the path becomes visible. So Tyndall effect can be used to distinguish a true solution from a colloidal solution. So we see the different types of solutions, That is the suspension, a true solution, and a colloidal solution.
I hope that you enjoyed this AV as well as you understood regarding all the solution, suspension and colloids with better understanding. Thank you. Have a nice day. Stay safe. Stay home. Thank you.